Welcome to Tita Talks. My name is Sonia Tita Puopolo, and I am your host. And I am so grateful to welcome back David Skinner, president of the International Self-Care Foundation, joining us from Ottawa, Canada. David has dedicated decades to self-care advocacy. His leadership includes 34 years leading a major Canadian self-care organization and 30 years as director of the Global Self-Care Federation. David, International Self-Care Day is celebrated each year on July 24th. This year, we're speaking during the World Health Organization Self-Care Month 2026 from June 24th through July 24th. The World Health Organization theme is Self-Care Puts Your Health in Your Hands, Test, Track, Thrive. Today, we will explore why self-care is a vital foundation of health, prevention, resilience, and human flourishing, and how people can begin with simple daily actions. David, welcome back to Tita Talks. As we enter the 2026 Self-Care Month window, what feels most important about international self-care today, this year? And talk to us about the theme.
Yes, well, the Self-Care Month theme for WHO is rather broad, but it involves actually getting more, let's say, good self-care habits.
Yeah.
So when they talk about testing and so on, they're thinking, doing regular tests of blood pressure and things like that, monitoring your situation.
Right.
As we get better and better technology, I see this as a fabulous future for people's ability to test and track. Pardon me.
Absolutely.
It says test, track, and thrive. Thrive is
Yes.
simply the result of testing and tracking and doing. And so when we have
Okay.
better tools, either right now there's a lot of good apps for tracking.
Yes.
So this year for the ISF, our theme is around healthy eating. And so
Okay.
testing, not a problem. Pardon me.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Tracking. There are lots of apps to help you track your
Yes.
dietary intake and allow you to
Abs-
have better balance to your nutrition. And really, this is one of the things that excites us the most about this year's International Self-Care Day is we are focused on healthy eating, which is a part
Right.
of WHO's Self-Care Month. They talk
Right.
about the pillars in perhaps a bit of a different way. They do talk about physical activity and pardon me, I don't know why I got a tickle all of a sudden.
I have the
Um,
same thing.
So
Take your
physical
time.
activity, healthy eating, mental health, and so on, and
Yeah.
risk avoidance. They're all parts of the seven pillars of self-care, but with a particular emphasis by WHO in the Self-Care Month is
Yes.
try to pick up and make a habit of something, whether it
Yes.
is tracking your daily exercise, tracking your daily eating habits, tracking your sleep, tracking the amount of rest you get within a 24-hour period. It doesn't have to track it, like every day for the rest of your life. You can pick a pattern and
Yes.
then try and stick to it. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution in July.
Okay.
Um, or dry February. Do it for a month.
Yes.
Use self-care
Yes.
month, and if you can
Yes.
get through self-care month and feel very comfortable with the tracking that you're doing, you'll probably stick with it because it becomes a bit of a self-care habit to do that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know that from the perspective of healthy eating, this is
Yes.
one of the more complicated, I would say, and a bit more difficult aspects of self-care for people to manage because there's so many influences.
Right.
The ability to find source um, healthy foods. And
Right.
fast foods and ultra-processed foods are convenient, easy to find, kind of cheap.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
the socioeconomic factors involved in healthy eating are significant.
Yes.
Um, the ability to
Mm.
be able to know what kind of products are better for you when you buy them commercially,
Right.
because not everybody has the time to every day go and get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and make fresh food. And, yes, you should
Yes.
probably strive to do it as often as possible, but the practical matter is with busy lives and so on, start getting prepared food. Um, but if you have a food app that where you can track this, you can sort of
Yes.
take a look at the week ahead and say, all right, Thursday's going to be a very busy day. I got to take the kids to soccer, do this, that, and the other thing. If we're going to get something that is prepared or take some fast food, maybe that's the night we do it. Because
Right.
I think it's really difficult for most people to completely block out every food source there is to the
Right.
exclusion of a very restricted diet.
Mm. Right.
And WHO even acknowledges that, as do we, that
Yes.
it's a balancing act. Um,
Yes.
you should limit your inclusion of ultra processed foods and so on. Ideally, if you could eliminate them altogether, sure, but we also understand the practicality of that.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
it's true in every sense of the word. From this, risk reduction things. Sometimes there are things that you do that have risks, but you can take measures. Like if you're on a the other day, a kid on a scooter passed me on the road, and I was driving my car, uh, but he had no helmet on.
Oh,
It's one thing to take the risk of going fast on a little scooter, and
yes.
not know when the next pebble is going to come up and knock you off your scooter, but you're not
Right.
even wearing a helmet, right?
No.
So there,
Mm.
there are
Very good
incremental
point.
things that you can do, and
Yeah.
this year with healthy eating, it's really about being mindful of what you eat. Everybody pretty much can say, yeah, I know I should keep refined sugars down. Sugary drinks are not good for me. I should lower my intake of trans fats. Shouldn't do that. I should, keep salt levels low. All the things that we know about, and our food pyramids and food plates and other visual representations. People are
Yeah.
aware of them, but on a day-to-day basis, being mindful about it, really,
Right.
I think everybody needs a nudge. So the use of apps to track
Yes.
these kinds of nutritional intakes, very helpful indeed.
Yes, yes. So I'm so grateful because I feel like you already, I mean, my next question was going to be, how would you explain the theme of the World Health Organization in terms of the self-care month? Self-care puts health in your hands, the test track thrive. But I think you did such a beautiful job walking us through ways in which people can take charge and begin to understand what that process can be and that experience can be, and in particular in terms of the International Self-Care Day theme. So for someone who is new to this movement, how do you define self-care, and why is it vital to the foundation of a lifelong healthy lifestyle and to our well-being?
Mm. Well, so self-care is really basically over 80% of all healthcare is self-care.
Yes,
If it weren't so, we definitely don't have enough healthcare workers to deal with every problem that people have. And self-care is kind of, you could put it into two camps. One is preventative. So what are things that you would
absolutely.
do that would keep you healthy, help you avoid diseases, particularly non-communicable
Right.
diseases like diabetes, heart disease, etc. And those preventions fall basically into things that we talk about, like physical activity. So
Yeah.
we're always saying that just get up and get moving is a good start. Not everybody has to jump up there and go run a marathon or a
I
triathlon
love
or
that.
something like that.
Right,
Getting up and moving, don't sit in your desk for too long.
right.
If you have to sit at a desk during the day, get up regularly and move around. Those things are preventative. They keep basically they'll keep your body healthy through both your endocrine system, your heart
Yes,
and lungs and everything else that keeps the body going day to day, and are
right,
always at risk of stress. So
right.
physical activity helps you become resilient. Healthy eating is another one, and these are all habits that you can get into, self-care habits,
Yes,
and they prevent many diseases. Non-communicable disease is probably the largest contributor to morbidity and
mm,
mortality anywhere in the world.
right.
Um, so managing through these self-care pillars,
Yes,
preventative means. And then there are things that you can do if you end up in a situation where you have everybody's going to get a cold at some point. Yeah, physical
yes,
activity and good nutrition can help boost your immunity and your resistance. But
yes,
sometimes you're going to be exposed to a pretty aggressive cold virus and you're going to get one. So
yes,
how you manage your symptoms through that and stay
absolutely.
as well as you can during the 1 week that you have bad cold symptoms. Those are other self-care things that you can do. Same thing with pain management,
Yeah.
and in the healthy eating area, being mindful and recognizing where you may have some dietary restrictions, for example, that
Yes,
might just knock down your intake of certain minerals and vitamins and so on. And so when
right.
you need some supplementation, those are some actions you can take to manage your nutritional intake. Uh, so those are the kinds of things that really make self-care part of everyday life. And the
Mm,
more you have self-care habits, the more likely you are to stay healthy, live longer, and be less exposed to certain risks in the environment, as well as, well, basically aging.
And the International Self-Care Foundation has developed the 7 pillars of self-care. Can you walk us through the 7 pillars and why they matter?
Sure. Well, the first pillar is health knowledge and literacy. It's
Yes.
pretty fundamental. It doesn't mean you have to become your own doctor, although I've heard people say, become your own doctor. Um, but you do have to start to train yourself as to where you can go to get good information on self-care and how to maintain your health. Obviously, online is good, but you have to be aware of the fake news as well as the good news.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
tough. So finding trusted sources for information
Mm,
is good.
mm.
I think the number one source of information for people these days still is friends and family, which is interesting because it can go both ways, right? But
Yes.
typically somebody says to their friend, "Oh, I've got this ache," and said, "Oh, I've had that before. Here's what we did to manage that. I stretched this and I
Right.
did that." Those kinds of that knowledge base that gets started through conversations is fantastic. And the more
Mm.
conversations you have, the more health literacy you'll have, and the better you'll know what your options are for doing something for yourself or going to seek professional intervention. Because not
Yes.
everything is self-care. Sometimes you need a good doctor to help you, or a
Yes.
physiotherapist, or somebody else.
I think being your best advocate as well, right? Instead of the
Yeah, oh,
doc,
yeah,
being a doctor, being your best advocate might be
yeah.
what,
And I
yeah.
think the better our health literacy is, the more open we are to having the conversations that some people shy away from, and
Yes.
you just don't have that discussion. Your symptoms
Right.
progress, things get bad, and it can get worse. So health literacy opens a lot of doors.
Completely.
Second pillar is mental well-being.
Mm.
Um, Mental well-being as important and sometimes more important than
Yes.
physical. Uh, Things that you can do to support your
Mm.
your mental wellness. there are some good tools, but mindfulness, being aware of your surroundings, having support of good friends, family, etc., having enough rest, setting time aside to be mindful, whether it's through meditation or reading a good book or getting a change of pace to remove the stress from
Oh,
your
yes.
mental health. Those
Mm,
are all very important things.
wonderful.
We focused on that a couple of years ago. The
Yes.
third pillar, physical activity, just touched on that briefly a minute ago. So physical activity is one of the biggest impacts on your ability to stay healthy. Um, Even if
Yes.
you,
Isn't
again,
it?
if you just get up and get moving, it's great.
Right.
Chair yoga, if you can't do real yoga, chair
Yes.
yoga. There's chair tai chi. There's all kinds of things that are
Yes.
not super stressful, but they do get your body moving and put into
Right.
positions that, where you stretch your muscles a bit more than you would just sitting around all day.
Right.
And so the physical activity pillar pays big dividends in terms of morbidity, mortality, because it reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and others. And by the way, it's also tied to mental health. People who are physically active tend to have something to distract them from the daily grind. That's might
Right.
be, so if you're feeling a little stressed, get up, go for a walk, those kinds of things. So they're linked. Healthy eating, which we're focusing on this year.
This year. Mm.
Yeah, healthy eating is I sort of describe the being aware mode and to track
Sure.
and to monitor and build some healthy habits. But there are, again, many socioeconomic determinants that stand in the way, daily life and time and the availability of nutritious foods. All those factors are very heavily influencing our ability to be a regular consumer of good
Mm.
nutritious foods. Um,
Yes.
and again, everything. I always say everything's in moderation. Really, the physical activity, moderation. Don't go crazy and injure yourself. Do
Yes,
something.
exactly.
Yeah. Same thing with healthy eating. You
Yes.
can still have hamburger. You just don't have a hamburger 3 meals a day every day,
And
and that kind
in
of thing.
moderation.
Yeah, moderation. Mix it up.
Yeah.
Make sure you have fruit and vegetables in your diet. Um, Nuts are great. Snacking is a big issue for a lot of people. They snack all the time, and while healthy snacking is healthy, unhealthy snacking is not a good thing. Um,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yeah.
I find that
Yeah.
the snacks of the day that are kind of good for people, their kids, and so on, is nuts are great. Um, Even grapes, simple little things. It doesn't have to be a whole bag of chips. Although
No, no.
the
Yes.
occasional bag of chips isn't going to kill you. It's all again about moderation.
In
Um,
balance.
yeah,
Absolutely.
the fifth pillar is risk reduction, and
Yes.
risk avoidance. I guess the classic one is uh, stop smoking. You
Yes.
know, smoking
Mm.
is tobacco products kill more people than you can even imagine.
Wow.
And even though smoking rates are dropping in some countries and they're going up in others,
Wow.
there are other tobacco related products that seem to be replacing the smoking, and they're not
Yes.
without risk either. So understanding the
Mm.
risks of things that you do and avoid them where you possibly can, and take mitigation measures when you don't have to, I
Mm.
suppose. If you're going to be a mountain climber, get the right
Yes.
equipment, do all the right things. But even I mentioned the kid on the scooter, like just riding your
Yes.
bike, wear your helmet, those kinds of
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
Because you're eventually, a friend of mine rides a motorcycle. He says there's two types of motorcyclists: those that have been down and those that are going down. So,
Wow.
you
Yes.
think that probably, oh, it'll never happen to me.
Yes. Yeah,
If
you have
you
to
think it's not going to happen to you, at least take the preventative measure and to avoid
absolutely.
the dire
Mm,
consequences if it actually does happen.
mm. And which pillar do you believe people most often overlook? The knowledge and the health literacy, the mental well-being, the physical activity, the healthy eating, or the risk avoidance, the good hygiene, or responsible use of self-care products and services?
I
Which
think
one?
I'm going to say healthy eating is one that why it's so important to focus on this
Yes,
year is it's so easily circumvented.
yes,
Like you can say, "Oh, I'm eating healthy," but
absolutely.
you're talking yourself into thinking that you are when you aren't.
When you're not,
And
yes,
so, if I were
right.
to say, "How do
Oh,
you
is that
feel
true?
about your health knowledge?" A lot of people would say, "Okay, I know if I have a question, I have my pharmacist, my doctor, I could ask. No problem." Okay, that's fine. What about mental illness? How do you feel? Well, when I feel a little bit down, I take a walk or read a good book or do something. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
When you say healthy eating, say, well, I could do better, but I'm okay. Like it doesn't,
right.
unless you're morbidly obese and really aware of the fact that you're consuming just too much caloric intake.
Yes.
You can talk yourself into saying, well, it's not so bad. I'm looking okay. But as we know, you could look okay. You could be having cardiovascular problems and not even know it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could be building up plaque in your arteries, et cetera, and you
yeah.
don't know it until you have a heart attack or something like that. And then the stimulus is there. Is, oh my gosh, I had a heart attack now. How do I prevent a second one? And so
Wow. Yeah.
that's not the kickstart that we want. We
No.
we would
Yeah.
want to kickstart ourselves to avoid the first one.
Absolutely.
So I'd
Absolutely.
say healthy eating is the toughest one and we're faced with
Wow.
tons of marketing messages and things like that to get us to buy things that may be less healthy than we would desire. Some good steps in that area. Canada, for example, and other countries have done it as well, but Canada and brought in a, whole nutritional labeling program about a
Oh,
year
wonderful.
and a half ago.
Right.
And it basically flags on the front of pack when something is high in fats or high in sodium or high in sugar content, and then you
Right.
have as
Dimension.
everybody generally has a nutrition facts label on the side or back of the package where you can look a little bit deeper, but it allows you at point of sale to look and compare front of pack to
Yes.
see which ones you may want to steer away from high in saturated fats. You may want to stay
Right.
away from high in unrefined carbohydrates. And so it's a nice visual cue.
Mm.
So labels help, but if later label readership isn't high enough, then the labels don't help at all. So that's part of that knowledge pillar as well. Read labels. It helps.
Yes. Yes. And people learning what works best for them. What might work best for a friend maybe doesn't work for them with their in terms of what they're putting in their
Sure.
body, right?
Yeah, I think we all have friends that have well, I'll call it maybe an extreme diet. Not really
Yes.
extreme, but let's say that's, oh, I only do a paleo diet, or I only do a
Oh,
this
I
diet,
see.
or I'm,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
only vegan, I'm only this, I'm only that. And other people say, well, I'm a little bit of everything. It's what works for you. And
Right.
I suggest,
Right.
like, if you're not happy with the way you're eating right now, try
Right.
another diet. Try the Mediterranean diet. Try, an Ayurvedic diet if you wish. Try
Yes.
veganism. Sooner or later, you'll land on one that you feel that you're comfortable eating, that is
Yes.
sustainable, and that's the real key. If you try something, let's say it's a fad diet, but it's not
Yes.
sustainable, then it's not going to do any good. You
Absolutely.
feel like you're making progress, and then you fall off the wagon, and you're right back where you started again in about 2 weeks.